About to get underway in perfect sunshine here. Magnificent conditions for the big one at 3 o'clock between the Penrith Panthers and the Canberra Raiders. But a bit of history about to be made here at the Sydney Football Stadium. The first appearance in a grand final by the fledgling club, the Brisbane Broncos, in just their third season in the Winfield Cup. Billy J. Smith has joined me, and Billy, it's a very proud moment in their club, and also the minor premiers Canberra today fielding 3 sides in grand final day.
Yes, this Brisbane Broncos side, they've done particularly well, I think, to get there. They've shown a lot of courage the last couple of weeks in their outings. Canberra, of course, as we said earlier, will start favourites here. They're the minor premiers. They've got a good mixture there of experience and also some good young players. And I think we've got a crackerjack game coming up, David. You might remember earlier this year in June it was. They gave us some beauty at Lang Park, which Canberra won by 16-10.
Yeah, that's right. A 6-point victory there by the Canberra Raiders. But Brisbane have done it well through the challenge in this semi-final series, defeating St George by 20 points to 12. North's 14-2 in the minor semi-final. And in the preliminary final last week, they defeated Penrith by 18 points to 6. Down on the touchline is Wally Lewis. And Wally, fabulous atmosphere here at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Wonderful atmosphere, David. Down here, the players are just about ready to come out of the tunnels. Some of the coaches and staff from both clubs have come out, and the nerves are very evident on their faces even. Even big Kev Kelleher, the Broncos media man, seems to be shaking today, and it's not from the food he's holding up either. But it is a truly magnificent day here. A little bit of wind around down on ground level now. It seems to have picked up, and blowing from the round weekend should favour the teams. It's getting quite strong, but I'm sure that we're going to see a fair bit of kicking. Both these sides like to throw the ball around and play a fast, open game, and I'm sure that we won't see them muck around in their own half too long. There'll be plenty of kicking.
Well, that message we just saw for Brad Fittler will star in that Penrith lineup, but the team's about to come out onto the ground. We see the Canberra players making their way down the tunnel here at the Sydney Football Stadium, and it's a great moment for Craig Bellamy, who will lead the side out. He's played over 100 first-grade games with the Canberra Raiders and has the honour today in this grand final to lead the Canberra Raiders side. Well, they are the minor premiers, as Billy mentioned. They would be favoured to take out this grand final. And walking the sudden death tightrope for the last 3 or 4 weeks, the Brisbane Broncos. And there's Craig Bellamy. He played a number of games at Lockport in first grade this year. And here's the Brisbane Broncos coming out to a mixed reception, which is not unusual. James Donnelly, who starred in that preliminary final win over Manly in first grade just a couple of weeks ago, is back in the Brisbane Broncos reserve grade side. Let's look at the Canberra team, though. Beath is at fullback, Atkins, Bell, Stanton and Kinner, a very talented three-quarter line. The halves of Twig and Bellamy. Bellamy will lead the side, and the back of the forwards of Barnhill, Lowry, Corvo, Breen, Wayne Collins, a key player, as is the big prop forward David Woods. The coach is Graham Buck Rogers. The Brisbane Broncos side, the 2 Ploughman boys will play on the wings. Richards is a fullback. The very talented Renouf, Ricks, Teven and Platt. Brett Leman, Hanrahan, Alan Cann, Scott Tronk, Ray Herring and James Donnelly.
David, that 5'8" there, Craig Teven, has been one of the key players in the semis for this Brisbane Broncos side. He's kicked 12 out of 15 goals, but he's also, his general play has been outstanding. I think both he and Renouf would probably lead the charge for them today.
And Craig Teven, of course, has not a club to play with. There's the Canberra team arriving for the big one. What a moment for Chicka Ferguson, playing in his very last match for the Canberra Raiders today. Can he go out in glory? Gary Belcher, what a key player he's going to be. Young Gaffey and Big Mal Meninga. But back in the centre of the stadium, Teven gets this reserve grade grand final underway. The referee is Greg McCallum. And already some tremendous defence led by Herring the hooker. And they have Canberra pinged down inside their own quarter. That's Collins. Coming in now to dummy half is Breen. The Raiders inside their own quarter. Good charging run upfield, but look at that Brisbane defence, already up in 3s and 4s. Collins is the man at dummy half. He'll start out of dummy half and put it on the left boot. It will go back to Andrew Richards, who will field it just outside his own quarter line. It's a good chase by Canberra. And they've been ruled offside, though. Greg McCallum very quick to spot it, Wally.
Yes, he has. As was mentioned just before, David, the kick is going to play an important role. Those players were a good 10 to 15 metres. They might have been a little bit unlucky to get penalised there. I thought that the fullback had run around about 5 or 6 metres, but a good start from Brisbane so far.
Well, Teven, second leading point scorer in the Brisbane Broncos club with 178, and as Billy mentioned, has played a vital role, kicking 12 out of 15 in the finals. Now Scott Trott will be the first receiver, bringing it up to 11 metres inside the Canberra end of the ground. Herring giving it away this time, taken upfield by Jason Hanrahan. Herring looking for the move on the right, decides to go left. It's taken up by Alan Caird. Coming in over the top was Woods. Herring again a dummy half. Donnelly was cut out and goes away from Platt to Teevan, out to Renouf. He's had an outstanding series in the semi-finals, where he scored in every one of the matches so far. And Billy showed a clean pair of heels in that magnificent try against Penrith last week.
Yes, he's got a lot of pace, this fellow, and once he gets a bit of a gap, he certainly lets them know all about it. Very hard to play the toss.
The final tackle now, and they decide to run it on the final tackle. It will go back for Cam. Leman puts the ball high in the air. It's not a bad one either, putting pressure on Beath, but he took it very well indeed. And he takes it about 2 or 3 metres out from his own goal line. Very, very safe under pressure. He replaced Gary Belcher in the final 2 rounds of the Premiership when Belcher had that neck injury. So he's tasted first-grade experience as well. Now Collins for Corvo, taking it upfield. That's good defence coming in from Teevan Low. Hanrahan came over the top. Now Bellamy away for Twig. Good play by the centre three-quarter in Bell. Watch for him today. He's a very pacey player. His clash with Renouf will be worth watching, but the penalty goes against the Raiders. And the second penalty for not squaring up in that play the ball. And look at the build on Plowman over there.
Well, he's had the crowd on their toes in the semi-final matches that he's played here. He really is a very strong player, and already we notice a change coming up with Tessman onto the field for the Broncos. I'd have had him there on the starting lineup, actually.
Yeah, he's made a remarkable recovery from that knee injury. Now, Brisbane inside their own quarter line, moving it wide for Tessman. That's his first touch. They're 11 metres out, Brisbane. The crisscross move with Teevan, and he read it well, got the pass away for Platt. But that steady Canberra defence is there. But the Broncos are only 5 metres out from the goal line. They move it left again with Teevan, turning it back infield, and that's Richards, the fullback. But he's wrestled to the ground by his opposite number in Beath and also Collins. It's the final tackle for the Broncos. They move it wide with Leman to Tronk. Tried to unload the football, and that will be the first turnover of the match. Now they move on the blind side. One of the great sporting legends of Australian sport, we just saw, Wayne Gardner, had just arrived here at the Sydney Football Stadium as Canberra take it outside their own quarter. No score in the game. We've had 4.5 minutes of play in this reserve grade grand final as the ball goes over the head of Plowman and will find touch midway between the half and the 22. Bellamy leading the charge. And it's been a very confident start, a good bit of kicking there by the halfback for Canberra, putting pressure right on the Brisbane Broncos.
So now we'll have the scrum to pack down, midway between the quarter and halfway down in Broncos territory. It'll be John Plath to feed. In it goes by Plath. He's looking for Plowman coming across from that wing, but he's lost the ball. The Canberra team will come away with it. So that was a bad miss there by the Broncos. It gives possession to Canberra. They now give away a penalty, and Canberra right in the thick of it up there. Bellamy wanting to get up there and take a quick tap. He's been pushed away over there with John Plath, and Plath subsequently has been called out by referee Greg McCallum. So they will take the shot at goal, and it will be Mark Bell who will line up for it now. So the first chance for the first points to come on the board here in this reserve grade grand final.
He's been in pretty good form of the boot throughout the season too, Bill. He's kicked 26 goals and also come up with 11 tries, this fellow. Very, very quick centre three-quarter, and his clash with Renouf out there today should be one of the highlights of this grand final.
So taking plenty of time with this, his first shot at goal in the match is Mark Bell. Checking the alignment on it.
Rolly down on the sideline. James Donnelly was the player that came off.
Yes, James Donnelly just replaced for the Brisbane side, David, and terrible news for James Donnelly. Not just a torn hamstring, he snapped it. He's torn the hamstring right through. It's in 2 pieces, so he's in a great deal of pain at the moment, and his season's well and truly over.
There's a kick by Bell. It is there, so first points on the board. Canberra open up a lead over the Brisbane Broncos of 2 points to 0. Canberra team in possession. They're about 10 metres out from their own line. They've put up a lot of strong defence here to keep this Brisbane side out. They were pecking away there for quite a while. So now it's Canberra with Collins taking it away. And the tackler on that occasion was Tessman. He's the replacement player for James Donnelly. And I dare say this Brisbane Broncos side, whilst I'll miss Donnelly, Tessman is a very good substitute. So now getting away with it is Ricks. Going to be put down a couple of metres short of halfway. So over there this time to Plowman, who takes the ball just inside the Canberra half. So Herring from dummy half. Can up the centre to be tackled up there and put down by Collins. Herring, Plowman coming in from that wing to get really involved up the middle. Herring again. Back to Teven. Ricks trying to find a way through, but the Canberra defence well up to the task. Leading off on the tackle that time was Lowry. Ball racing down towards touch. Is it going to find it? Yes, it is. Only about 6 metres out from that Canberra line. Nice kick downfield by Herring. Here it is again, bouncing away. Got a good bounce to the right and finally finding touch up there. And it'll be Canberra to feed with Bellamy coming around. So the Canberra lead is 2 points to 0. Referee McCallum talking to both front rows, straightens it up a little bit. Whole scrum screws around. It's going to be lost back behind him by Platt. Quickly going to be claimed, but Broncos get possession from that scrum and a chance to put some pressure on. Trying to work his way around over there was the fullback in Richards. So Herring up as dummy half. Herring will work it away to Tronk. Tronk put down about 3 metres out from the Canberra line. So back over to Teven. Teven getting it outside, then to Hanrahan. Hanrahan still a couple of metres out. The Canberra defence being tested once again. Plath with it. But he's going to be wrapped up in there. Plenty of Canberra defence on that occasion. This is the final tackle. We'll look for Teven out wide. There he is. Teven puts it up high. Renouf is following out after it. Back underneath is Beath. They go up. Ball will be knocked back over the dead ball line. So once again, it's the Canberra fullback going up. Just got a hand to it. You saw Renouf fly through the air, try and get to it with the ball over that dead ball line. So now back onto the quarter line. Coming up there is Collins. He'll take the tap on the quarter. Referee McCallum very kindly gives him the ball. So now it's the last 5 minutes or so have been all Broncos in attack. And the Canberra defence very sorely tested, but they've withstood the attack of the Broncos and retained their lead of 2 points to 0. So this is Bellamy. He turns it back inside to Barnhill. Canberra about midway between the quarter and halfway, down inside their own half. As Collins comes up to dummy half, goes himself, works up to the halfway mark before the defence will put him down. This is the final tackle. Spraying it away this time. Coming up over there is Stanton. The kick forward, and it's going to find touch. 15 metres out from the Broncos line. At this stage, Canberra leading by 2 points to 0.
And he moves. Strikes it well. He's given it a bit of height. Straight over the black dot. What a goal. Just look at the spin on that ball.
So it's Plath coming away from the back of the scrum. Is going to be held up there. And taking it away on this occasion is Hanrahan. Gets it up towards that quarter line. This is Brett Leman. Has been forced to play most of his football this season in reserve grade due to the fact that those back rows on the A-grade side of the Broncos have really been fired up. There's a kick downfield. Beath going back to recover. He'll run it out. There's a line of defence coming at him. He got around Teven, but the pass can't be held over here by Atkins. And the referee to play the knock-on just on the Canberra Raiders quarter line.
That's a critical area too here by Canberra, Bill, because it gives loose head and feet to this Brisbane side right on the quarter line.
Well, once again, it put some pressure on them, all right. They've defended quite well, but I suppose now it's a matter of how long they can keep this team out, because they have had a lot of possession and hammered away on that line. So wait for Platt to feed. Over to Teban. Teban trying to work around the tackle over there. But put down by Beef, just short of the quarter line. Ricks to dummy half. Over to Hanrahan. Still 20 metres out from the Canberra line. On this time to Tessman, the big fellow striding up there, but it's going to be held up some 10 metres out.
Yes, so Brisbane now working to put the pressure right on Canberra. 20 minutes of play remain in the first half. Lemay for Tessman. It's a chance, but it's been knocked down by Collins. And has the referee ruled the knock-on both ways? He has. And I think you'll find that the first knock-on was by Canberra, so pressure still on the Raiders. And the scrum will go down an ideal field position now for Brisbane.
Stanton is the player being called out here by referee McCallum. Captain Craig Bellamy going over there with him. Obviously something said.
Yes, he'll take his place back out of the centres as the scrum packs down 10 metres out from the Canberra goal line. Plath to work the scrum for Brisbane. It comes out quickly. They move it wide with Teban. That pass was going to come back for Richards, but he was wrapped up well and truly by Twigg. Now they move it for Renouf. And good defence there. Solid stuff coming in from Michael Twigg. Now Herring away for Hanrahan. 10 metres out as this Canberra defence is stretched, but it's holding firm. Herring calling the shots from dummy half. It'll go for Teban. Teban back for Tronk. And Tronk is 9 metres short of the goal line. Brisbane lined out to the left as they move it through Platt to Teban. Away for Grant Riggs. And he's 5 metres short on the final tackle. Watch for Teban again. Richards for Teban, putting it in the air. It'll come down short of the in-goal area. Pressure there for Beath, knock back, and the referee will rule the knock-on the turnover, and Canberra come up with possession of the football.
So once again, they've withstood some strong pressure from the Broncos.
Wally, to their credit, this Canberra side will go back there as Teban. A chance. It goes out for Darren Towman, and first points for the Brisbane Broncos. This young fellow, in a great moment for him in his first ever grand final, comes up with his 4th try of the year and puts the Broncos in the lead by 4-2. It all came from a mistake. Teban showed good hands, got it away. What a moment for this young fellow. Wally Lewis.
Yes, no surprise that it really came from a Canberra mistake, David. The Canberra defence was magnificent before that moment. It was only an error, and that's the only two reasons that the reason that Brisbane has been in Canberra's half of the field for a couple of silly errors. Their defence before then has been absolutely magnificent, and one error, well, it's opened the door for the Broncos. We'll see whether they can go on with it or not.
Well, Darren Plowman, David, scoring the try. It was a one-handed effort. I wouldn't say that's the most advisable way to do it, but he got the points.
Yes, there was a fair deal of risk to it, but he grounded the ball fairly and squarely. And we just wonder now whether this young fellow, Craig Teban's goal-kicking ability will continue in this grand final. Billy mentioned earlier, 12 from 15 in the final so far, including 6 out of 6 against St George in that 20-12 victory in the minor preliminary semi-final. I mentioned that the Broncos have been walking that sudden death tightrope for the last 3 weeks. They've edged ahead in this grand final. They lead by 4-2 with 16.5 minutes of play remaining in the first half. And Craig Teban, well, it was about to come in. This kick, a metre in from touch on the commentary side of the Sydney Football Stadium. Absolutely ideal conditions. And we're only 2 hours away from kickoff. And a reminder to all our viewers here on 10, the first grade game uninterrupted here from 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll bring you all the colour of the pre-game activities as Teban comes in from near touch. It's going to go away to the left. No extra points for the Broncos, but they lead this reserve grade grand final by 4 points to 2.
Match in this reserve grade grand final, the Brisbane Broncos leading by 4-2. They've scored the only try of the match, and the mistake comes again, and away they go with Teban. Teban turns it back inside, but it's gone to no one. And the referee is going to call a halt there.
Well, Johnny Plath was taken out without the football as well, but referee McCallum has taken no action against the Canberra player, and John Plath doesn't look all that flash.
He's back onto his feet. He's standing at the back of the scrum as Bellamy feeds for Canberra. Twig going the blind side, but they swing it back the other way. This is Stanton with it now. Stanton trade up the centre, but put down 10 metres short of that halfway mark. So now Canberra doing a little bit of attack. They've been doing a lot of defence, but now they're stretching them out quite well. Going for the corner over there is Bell, but Bell is tackled into touch. That was a good effort. Coming across over there was Richards. Good work. You'll see him come in. Bell looking very dangerous there.
Well, I mentioned just how quick he is, but look at the way that Richards just taps the ankle and into touch he goes. Desperation defence by Brisbane.
Did well to get there, I thought, David, because Bell was away and really stretching that defence. That's Plath taking it across. He'll be held up about 20 metres out from his own line. Brett LeMan. Canberra already with one win on the board so far. They took out the under-21 President's Cup by 16 points to 12. Penrith boys arriving here at the Sydney Football Stadium, making their way in for their first grand final.
Yes, they moved into the Hilton Hotel over the weekend. And young Brad Fittler, what a great moment for him today.
Phil Gould in the middle. Well, he's one man that knows what grand finals are all about. And he's done a marvellous job of this Penrith side this year. Collins trying to get a hold of that ball, but it'll be Plowman coming in to get it. Decision not too popular by the referee. He's ordered another 6 tackles, and he's also given a penalty now. And chatting away out there was Bellamy. Had a bit to say to referee McCallum, so he gave the penalty immediately. So a couple of mistakes have come into this Canberra lineup over the last 10 minutes or so. And those mistakes have put them under a lot of pressure. They've been able to weather the storm for most of the time, but they did allow one try to go in.
I noticed that Craig Teevan there, Bill, is looks as though he's playing in joggers and not football boots.
Yeah, he wears very, very light boots. They certainly aren't real football boots, that's for sure. This is Tessman. Under 21s, that's your score again. Canberra getting off to a flying start in their quest for 3 grand final wins here today. So just inside the quarter, Herring coming up as dummy half. Tronk gets it around again to Herring, doubling through. That's Brett LeMan again. Put over there 18 metres out from that Canberra line. Out to Tronk. Tronk looking for support, didn't find any, so he had to keep going himself. Herring to dummy half. Over there to Teevan. Outside to Plath. Propping. Can't bridge that defence though. Canberra on the job again. This is the final tackle, so we look once again for Teevan. He's out there on the blind side, decides to run it, now puts the little kick in. Got to be taken in the in-goal area over there. And tackled in the in-goal. Kinner was the man who came in to take it for Canberra.
Cleverly weighted kick from Teevan. It just sits up beautifully for him. I think Kinner thought it was going to go dead in goal, but that's where it dropped. Clever kick. And a good chase by the Broncos as well.
So the dropout coming up from underneath the goal mount.
So the Raiders, with 9 minutes of play remaining in this first half, trailed by 2 points. They trail by 4-2. And Bell drops out right down to the halfway line. That's Richards, the fullback, that will run it up. Oh, and a swinging arm coming in that time from Alec Corvo. Now Herring turning it back. Plowman, the try scorer, that's Darren Plowman. Both the Plowman boys have come in from the wing to take over a lot of the workload from this Brisbane pack. LeMan was cut out, that's Tessman. Coming over the top in defence was Craig Breed. Underneath was Mark Lowry. Now Herring, not a good play the ball by the Broncos, and they've turned over possession of the football when they're on deep attack. So, Wally, we have seen this game punctuated with errors from both sides at crucial field positions.
Yes, that's right. That was a very good opportunity for Brisbane to post further points, David. It's been a feature of their play early in this match, their ball control. That's only the second time that they've turned over possession inside the 6 tackles, and that's why most of the play has been down this end of the field. They've been dominating the ball control and then putting a kick down either with a bomb or a little grubber in behind the line, which has been very good. Canberra have made many unforced errors, and they've got to really cut down their errors if they want to get back in the match.
Well, there's Chris Kidder trying to work it out from dummy half. Was a member of that 1987 grand final side for the Raiders and went down to Manly Warringah. And that was offside. Correct decision by referee Greg McCallum.
Brought about by a fair bit of pressure that was applied to the Canberra side too. A panic pass and when they gave away a penalty.
Yes, the pass thrown by Twig. And as Billy mentioned, that pressure was there. And now Teven will try and put further pressure on by kicking it inside the quarter. And that allows the Broncos to attack now, leading by 4 points to 2. 7.5 minutes of play remain to half-time. And that's Andrew Tasman taking it 11 metres out from the Canberra line. Herring, the captain, will go to dummy half, working open side with Can. Can takes on the defence, but it's Barnhill that comes over the top. Now Herring. Oh, great defence on Brent LeMond. That was a tremendous hit coming in from Barnhill. Out of dummy half goes Teven. He spotted the weakness on the blind side. Bell roughs him up in the tackle. Kinner calls for defence on the blind. Brisbane work it open. Good defence on Chong and a mistake again by Brisbane. Brent LeMond is the man that knocks the football on. And you can see there Craig Bellamy urging those Raiders troops on in defence. They've been under pressure territorially right throughout this first half. Actually, I can only remember once, Bill, where they were in possession of the football in the other end of the ground.
Yes, they've been doing a lot of heavy work down there inside their own quarter.
Well, this gives them a chance now. Penalty inside the 5 goes against the Brisbane Broncos, against Grant Briggs. And Greg McCallum officiating in this reserve grade grand final that sees Brisbane in the lead by 4-2. Just over 6 minutes of play remains to the half-time break. This Canberra side, after their second win of the afternoon, after the under-21s won their grand final by 16-12, to give them their first ever minor grade grand final victory. That's Atkins, just a metre short of halfway. And a penalty will allow them to come across that halfway line, and a bit of back-chatting adds another 10 to it.
Bit of a silly tactic, that one there, because he brought the penalty on, then gave them extra ground. 5.5 minutes to go to half-time. You've got a lead of 4-2. You don't do things like that.
Well, it's given the Canberra side now some ideal attacking field position here. 32 out. Atkins will give the ball to Collins. It'll go to Bellamy, to Twig, and Corvo running out wide. It's taken 32 out. Collins working at right-hand side again. Bellamy turns it back in field for the fullback beat. And he's taken in good defence by Brisbane. Stanton runs out of dummy half, takes it to the quarter line and beyond. They're in centre field. They move on the crisscross. Good hold-up play for Barnhill. He's 11 short of the try line. And Canberra on the boil. It goes across Bellamy. But again, Bill, that Brisbane defence is there.
Yes, here's the final tackle now. Let's see what they can do with it. Collins swings it away. The kick, no, they send the pass out. Trying to get it through over there is Atkins, but he's lost the ball. I notice young John Platt, the halfback for the Brisbane Broncos, in a fair bit of trouble out there. He's limping quite badly. And he dropped out into the centres there while that attack was coming in from Canberra.
Well, Bill, you may recall that they thought he actually broke his ankle here in that match against Norths a few weeks ago, but he recovered tremendously to come back and play against Penrith.
Well, he recovered so quickly, it's where he'd been to Lourdes for a week or so. So now it's Broncos in possession, and just over 4 minutes remaining in this first half. That's Plowman, rushed out of one tackle. Big, strong fellow, makes the most of his weight, and brings play up to 25 metres out from the Broncos line. So this is Teven. The kick downfield. Back over there is Beath, takes it on his own quarter line. So he'll run it out from there. Dummy half waiting up there is Atkins. He works across field. So we still have a lead for the Broncos of 4 points to 2. 3.5 minutes remaining in this first half. So now Canberra doing a little bit of attack for a change. Working his way around is Atkins. Gets it back inside. A loose pass this time. And it's going to be a Broncos ball. Grant Briggs to play it. There's going to be a penalty.
And Plowman resented the tackle as well. His teammates very quick to settle him down.
Well, you've got the penalty. Don't get too upset. So here we go now with Teven. And that kick will bring play 5 metres inside the Canberra half of the field. Back over now to Tronk. Tronk is going to be wrapped up. That's Hanrahan. Half time in this match. We'll have the captain's toss for the big one this afternoon. And we'll also be taking you live to Canberra, where I guess they're starting to rev up quite a deal. They've got one grand final on their belt. Plath eventually pulled down 25 metres out from the Canberra line. So back onto Teven. Teven outside to Tronk, looking for support again. He finds Hanrahan, but they're not going anywhere. The ball's going to be knocked down by Canberra.
6 more to go.
Yeah, the tackle count restarts. Herring from dummy half. He'll get it on to Brett LeMan, works it up to the quarter line. Back over there to Tronk. Keeps it going, but can't hold it. It's going to be a penalty coming up. Kinner came in to get the ball, but it'll be a penalty now for Canberra. Little scrappy bit coming up there.
Probably no need for Scott Tronk to try and unload that, Bill. Only 2 tackles gone and less than a minute and a half to half-time. I would have thought that Brisbane might have tried to control the football for 6.
Well, just keep that last bit of pressure on coming into the half-time break. So Collins will be there on the mark. Kinner coming in from that wing over there. Put down 10 metres short of the halfway. So Stanton comes from the dummy half spot on this occasion. Canberra on the halfway mark. Playing it up there is Lowry, his second row partner Corbo's been in quite a bit of it. Here's a chance with Bellamy coming through, but there's no support. He's taken ball and all back there. It's going to be a Canberra ball still. They'll put on some pressure to take us into the half-time break. They won't do it out that way, but they do on there. Bellamy's into it. Back it goes to Collins. Collins unloads. And the defence is going to just hold him out. But Canberra putting on the pressure all right, but they've lost the ball, and the Broncos will play it a couple of metres out from their own line. And I guess they'll be pretty pleased about that.
Yes, tremendous pressure from Canberra, and now this will really let the pressure valve off, because the penalty comes in the last 15 seconds of this first half.
Atkins, the player being spoken to there by referee McCallum.
I suppose, Wally, we look back at this first half and say that crucial mistake by Canberra inside their quarter line has proved very costly indeed.
It certainly has, David, and how often does that happen in a match where you only get 1 or 2 opportunities in a half? As the half-time hooter goes, I'm sure that the Canberra Blokes will be reminded of that fact very shortly by their coach.
So that is our half-time score here at the Sydney Football Stadium in the reserve grade grand final. The Brisbane Broncos are leading Canberra by 4 points to 2.
Thanks for all your support during the year. A great one for you guys first up in the year, and you've got the Raiders in the big one as well.
Yeah, well, Graham, you couldn't ask for anything better. 3 teams on grand final day for the video is the Raiders, and hopefully 3 wins. All
right, let's see if we can find a winner here. We're looking for a winner to the first envelope out here in this draw will be a trip for 2 to join the Kangaroos on the tour of Great Britain and France. Our thanks to Qantas and also to Viva Holidays, and the winner first out is Helen Ward. Stuart, as I'll ask you to grab 3 more prize winners too, courtesy of NEC. They'll receive some fabulous product from NEC. Helen Ward, flat 27, Block C, Fraser Court in Kingston in the ACT. So it's turning out to be a big day for Canberra. And our 3 other winners of NEC product, of course, is F. Harmer of 1 Mimosa Street, Temora. We have a further winner, David Haynes, or D. Haynes of Narrabundah in the ACT. And last but not least, we have F. Smith, it is, of also, we're down there at Cootamundra, in fact. So some great winners there. Stuart, good luck in the big one today. It's great for the sponsors to be there.
Great, thanks, Graham, and good luck to the Canberra Raiders. Good luck to all teams.
Okay. All right, let's take it out of the captain's toss of the big one. Here's Billy Anderson.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. We're here for the obvious toss of the coin, and with me is Bill Harrigan. Billy, a big day for you, and no doubt you'll be happy if we're not talking about the referee after the match.
Certainly should be a good day, and if I don't get a mention, that's great.
Okay, would you like to toss the coin for us?
Boys, Mel call. Tails. Tail.
Well, there it is. It's a tail, and it's up to Mal Meninga to make a decision on which end he's going to defend.
Away from the scoreboard with the wind, hopefully with the sun. Yeah, we'll go the other way. Yeah.
Okay, Mal, you're going to be defending the northern end of the ground. Any reason for that?
a little bit of wind out here, Billy, and also the sun, obviously. So, you know, we'll see what happens. And hopefully the wind will turn around after half-time.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, Royce, no doubt you're nervous, but also very excited in Penrith's first ever first-grade grand final.
Yes, Bill, it's a great moment. It's one of the best weeks I've had in my life, but I want to make sure we finish it off and you can remember for the rest of your career as the best week.
OK, Royce, well, you deserve your share of good luck too. There you have it, Graham. The toss won by Canberra. Back to you.
Thank you, Billy. And, of course, it's a great day for Canberra, as I'm saying already. They're really starting to build up down in the nation's capital there, too, at the home base of the Raiders. Here to report on the atmosphere down here is Michael O'Dwyer.
Yeah, thanks very much, Graham. They certainly are getting very rowdy here in the nation's capital, probably best known as the Conservative City. Thousands of fans here already. They've been here since 8 o'clock this morning at a breakfast and very, very happy indeed. I have a couple with me. John Webb, first of all. John, you've supported the Raiders for something like...
I've been supporting the Raiders since the Canberra District football since 1953 and the Raiders since the inception in 1982.
Is this the best Raiders side you've seen?
I would say, you can add Brad Kye to it, I would say yes, it's marginally a better side than last year. And given a lovely, a great ground that it is today, 20 degrees in Sydney, I think that the Raiders will perform extremely well.
All right, and of course Mary Hayes is here too. Mary, you've supported them. Are you going to stay on tonight?
Oh, certainly am, and it's going to be back-to-back finals.
Well, there it is, back-to-back finals. That's the support that people are going for down here in Canberra, Graham. Best of luck to both sides. I'm sure they'll be here. You might need to get a rescue party to get me out tonight. It's back to you, Graham Hughes.
All right, thanks, Mike O'Dwyer. Half-time here in reserve grade. It's Brisbane 4.
Between the Brisbane Broncos and the Canberra Raiders. The Broncos in the lead by 4 points to 2. The players coming back out on the field for the start of the second half. And for those people that may have just joined us, particularly for those Raiders fans, good news in the President's Cup. The Raiders won that match by 16 points to 12 over the St George Dragons. As I mentioned, 4 points to 2, just one try in reserve grade, scored by Darren Plowman from a Canberra mistake. That's their 4 points, and for Canberra, Bell has kicked a penalty goal. So the Broncos coming out now, they will defend the southern end of the Sydney Football Stadium in the second half. And Billy, a special message for Tina Turner as we await grand final kickoff for 1990.
I want to say hi to all my friends in Australia. Congratulations to both teams that made it to the grand final of the Winfield Cup. And a big cheerio to all the boys who tried so hard but didn't quite make it this year. So, have a great time watching the grand final, because the team that wins the Winfield Cup today will be simply the best.
Thank you, Tina Turner. What a great message that was, and her little hit this year, Simply the Best, has been a great hit, Billy, for the Rugby League.
Certainly has, David. I'm just a bit disappointed she didn't just pass on a special message to you and I, though.
OK, 35 minutes away from glory here in the reserve grade grand final. The Broncos hold a 2-point advantage as Twigg restarts play for the Canberra Raiders, driving it deep downfield. It's taken in the in goal by Richards, and he brings it back within about 2 or 3 metres of the quarter line. In a good run by the Brisbane fullback, crawling to his feet now for the play the ball. Taken upfield by Plowman. He was the try scorer in the first half. The captain, Herring, is the man at dummy half. Away for Scott Tronk. Made a couple of very good busts, but unloaded the football on a couple of occasions where I'd like to see him hang on to it in that first half. Now Herring, kicking out of dummy half. That will force Atkins and also Beath back. Beath, the fullback, runs it away from his own quarter line. And he comes to Teevan, who puts him on the ground. So Canberra trying to work it out through Atkins. Former Parramatta first grade player, Brett Atkins. Quick play the ball to the halfway line is Craig Breen, the prop forward. Taken upfield by Lowry. He's right on the halfway line. Now they move it. Bellamy out for Twig. A long pass out this time for Stanton. Held it up beautifully for Bell. Bell made the break, but the defence was there of Brett LeMan. Now they move it. Blindside again with Twig. The kick in general play will go down to Richards. And Richards takes it about 5 metres out from his own goal line. And again has run the ball back very, very strongly for Brisbane. Teevan away for Plowman. And big Brett Plowman takes it 32 out from his own goal line. Herring is the dummy half. Away for Hanrahan. Turning it back infield, loose on the ground. It's picked up by Teevan. And a little knock on there by the Broncos 5'8". Will put pressure on his side. Loose head and feet to the Raiders. 32 metres out from the Brisbane line. And it will be Bellamy that will work the scrum for Canberra. They've got options on either side from this scrum win. Referee McCallum steadying both front rows. Brisbane wheeling it. And they've come up with the football. Brett LeMan was offside. And the referee McCallum very, very quick to spot it. He had to come around this side of the scrum to pick it up. And Bellamy, having a look around, will decide they're going to look for touch on the far side. It's Beath that will try and drive it away to that far side. And he finds touch about a metre short of the halfway line, the quarter line. So I think Brett Atkins is the man that will give the ball across for Collins for the restart. It's the Broncos in the lead by 4-2. And we've had about 3 minutes of play gone in this second half. Down on the touchline is Wally Lewis. Wally, words from the camps at half-time.
Well, both teams were fairly subdued at half-time. They knew what they had to do when they came out in the second half. Canberra, of course, put all of their emphasis on their ball control. They said they just had to work it for field position without trying to get away any silly passes and get a good kick and chase game going. The Broncos knew that they were in with a chance. They were a little bit nervous going into the game, but now they had that dream firmly in their sights, and they realised that they're a very big chance of winning this game. All they've got to try and do is just tighten up their defence a little bit, and Bill Gardner placed most of the emphasis on everybody staying alive and the players encouraging each other all the way through.
Well, tremendous pressure put on there by the Canberra Raiders, but knocked on in the in goal. And a great chase here. Bell was the one that came through, got up above Richards, and it was finally Teevan who tidied it up inside his own in-goal area. Now Alan Can. Herring. On the blind side is Hanrahan. Twig wrapped him up all in all, midway between the half and the quarter line. Hits at Brisbane's end of the ground. And they lead by 4-2 in this reserve grade grand final. There's an error inside their own half by Andrew Testman. And it's virtually an action replay of the first half, with Brisbane making the mistakes inside their own half and allowing this Canberra side to put all the pressure on. So it will be Bellamy that will work the scrum for Canberra. 10 metres in from this grandstand touchline. In it goes. Good strike by Collins. But it's come out the Brisbane side. That's Ricks. Away for Plowman. He comes to Twig. Looked to unload it. Wasn't a good pass. And Stanton swooped in defence.
Stanton was sweating on him out there for that pass to come out and didn't mess around when he got there.
Now Tronk gets it up towards halfway. So control of the football and a good kicking game important in this set of 6 for the Brisbane side. It goes away for Testman. Now Herring working open to the blind side with Scott Tronk. Got the pass back in field. Here's the final tackle coming up for the Brisbane side now. It'll go to Teevan, hoisting it high in the air. The chase is on. but Beath will take it very, very confidently, 11 metres out from his own goal line.
Yes, he'll go to ground with it, getting up to play it down. Away from dummy half, trying to find a way around over there was Kinner, but he'll play it just on the quarter line. So no change to that half-time score. That's Lowry. Half-time, and the score as it is now, Brisbane leading by 4-2 and scoring just the only try of the match so far. They've done plenty of attack, but that Canberra defence has been right on the job. So here's the final tackle. Collins up there as dummy half. Now the left footer downfield. Going back there is Richards, who will run it out towards the quarter line. Straight onto the Canberra defence, loses the ball, and Canberra will come away with it. But the referee going to play the knock-on in there.
Now, which way is he ruled? For the first infringement, it appears that Brisbane won't have the loose-handed feet, so Canberra, Bill, in a great attacking position.
Yes, a chance for them to put some pressure on now as the scrum packs down on the Broncos quarter line. Well, it'll be a good start for Canberra in this second half. If they can cross here, they'll be right back into the match. Waiting for Bellamy.
Brisbane backs well up offside.
Bellamy getting across the twig. Keeps it going. Back inside, working his way around over there as Bell. He's going to be put down some 15 metres out from the Broncos line. Standing from dummy half, back inside to Bellamy. Bellamy taking it up to them. Now they swing it out again. Stepping back inside over there is Breen. But working their way up towards that line as they go. Collins to dummy half. Turns it back inside. Taking it up is Barnhill. Still a few metres out from the line. Collins waiting for it. Sends it across field this time. Bellamy. A big long one. Twig gets it out. They go without it. Retain possession. Here's the final tackle. So what do they do with it? Swing it back over there to Twig. Twig puts it up. Richards comes through to take it though. And the Broncos a couple of metres out from their own line.
I think Collins may have hurt Richards in that tackle too, Bill. He's very, very slow to get to his feet.
Well, he's not even doing that at this stage. It looks like Herring's going to take the ball and will walk across field and play it over there. Richards still sitting on the ground.
Could be a head-bin job for Andrew Richards.
He's been quite solid in that fullback position for them today. He's taken the ball up quite nicely.
Appears to be okay.
Herring coming up as the dummy half. Back over to Tronk, unloads it nicely to Teban. That was good ball. Teban trying to struggle out of the tackle, but just held on to over there by Collins. So now they keep it going again. Tronk unloads it again, but the defence is right up on the job. So back to Teban with a kick downfield. Beath is away there. Tackler is Renouf. Ball and all effort on that occasion. Away from dummy half, Kinner. Slipped away from one tackle, still going. A buffeting run this time by the winger. 10 metres short of the halfway mark, draws applause, and I'm not surprised. It was good work. So now Bellamy, unloading it out over there this time to Breen. Breen about 10 metres short of halfway. Collins. Bellamy looking around over there. Finally finds Bell coming onto it. But they're pegged down inside their own half of the field still on this occasion, Canberra. And the final tackle is coming up now. So back to Bellamy and the kick downfield. Straight to Plowman though. He decides to run it out and gets up to about 8 metres short of halfway. So from the play the ball again, it's Brett Leman to the halfway, trying to break out of the tackle, but he couldn't. So the Broncos hanging on to that lead of 4-2. This is Tessman, taken pretty high on that occasion by Twig. Dummy half Herring. To Tronk. Tronk flicks it back behind him. They've lost the ball. Canberra dive on it. Canberra in possession. So with 25 minutes remaining in this second half, we have the Broncos leading by 4-2.
And Canberra take it inside the attacking half through Stanton. That's Kinner. Got the pass away for Corvo. And another bad error so early in the tackle count. 4-2 here at the Sydney Football Stadium. 24 minutes of play remain.
Amazing stuff. They got the Uluru, which is like Umlea Town Hall.
Since we left you, 4-2 Brisbane lead. They had an ideal attacking opportunity a few minutes ago during the commercial break, and it was just desperate defence by Atkins and Bell that denied Brisbane a try. Now they move it again. Teevan tried to clear it up. That's Mills, the replacement player. But the referee will rule the pass has gone forward and bring play back to the quarter line for the restart. Brisbane have the loose head and feed. Following this reserve grade grand final, the grand final spectacular. Then the first grade game totally uninterrupted. What a game it'll be. The Raiders up against the Panthers, making their first appearance in a grand final as Ricks got the pass away to Richards. Ricks playing in the halfback role with Plath off the field. Both the Teevan boys are on, and so too is Ashley Tapia, who replaced Hanrahan. There's Ricks darting out of dummy half, and he's about 2 or 3 metres short of the Canberra line. Herring moves it on the right-hand side. The two Teevans combined. That's Plowman, Darren Plowman, 5 metres short. Tapia is the dummy half. Moving it to Teevan. The cutout pass for Leman, picked up by Tesman. He saw the daylight open, but he's taken just a metre or so short. Now they move it left-hand side. Teevan turning it back for Tapia. Tapia through the dummy, and he's taken about a metre or so out on the final tackle. 20 minutes of play remain here at the stadium in the reserve grade grand final. Renouf's done it again. He's come up with another go. He's been held up. Gee, I'll have a look at that one in replay, Bill. It looked a fair try to me.
Yeah, well, a fair few of the crowd would agree with you, David. They started booing. Let's have a look at it now. There he is.
Gee, I'd say fair try. Wally, what are your thoughts?
Well, David, I'm sitting here right next to Graham Hughes, and he looked like he pushed that ball about 6 inches underground.
Well, fair try for me. Let's have a look at it again. Renouf charges through. There's where he grounds the football. And the referee says held up over the line.
Yeah, a bit of bad luck there, I'd say, for that one. But they hang on to a lead of 4-2. But they've had their opportunities to score in this second half. And that's the closest they've come to it. But Canberra in possession now. Collins away from dummy half. In turn gets it outside there to Barnhill. He'll play it back, working his way across field as Bell, who's looked pretty dangerous whenever he's touched the ball today. And of course, we have a $750 award for our State Bank man of the match here in this reserve grade grand final. There's the penalty referee calling for the changeover. Ashley Tapia will play it. Herring from dummy half. Working his way right across field over there was Brett Leman. So it's the Broncos in possession, 5 metres short of the halfway mark. Herring gets it outside to Tesman. He's got it charging up into Canberra territory. Makes it by a couple of metres. So back over there to Ricks. Teevan. He's well and truly wrapped up though, taken in the tackle of Twig. Renouf to dummy half. To Teevan. Long one to Ricks. Ricks trying to get on the outside of the defence over there, but not being successful on that occasion. Pulled down over there by Mills. There's the kick downfield by Teevan on the final tackle. It's not a bad one. It's rolling back into the in-goal area. It's going to have a little bit too much beef. It wasn't a bad one most of the way, but just a little bit too hard. And at this stage, it's 4-2.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Penrith, Canberra. Hang on. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8. What do we appreciate? Big Mac, French fries, McDonald's. Yay!
So back here now with Canberra in possession, and down to the touchline is Wally Lewis.
Billy, I'm sure one point that's going to come out of that last decision with the Renouf try is that if it should cost Broncos the match, I'm sure that we'll hear plenty about it with regard to the in-goal touch judges. Now, they've been appointed for first grade. It seems a strange reason if they're going to be appointed why they wouldn't be appointed for all grades. But certainly, if there was an in-goal touch judge there, and I'm sure everybody that's seen it on the replays as well would more than agree that that certainly did appear to be a try, and an in-goal touch judge from there really would have had an eagle's eye view.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be too much to expect to have them here on grand final, though, would it?
Well, you certainly would expect that. I mean, even if they just appointed them for the grand final day, they are the most important game of the season, where players, can really decide whether it's been worthwhile all season, all the training and all the pain they go through.
It will be a bad way to lose out in the grand final. So now it's Stephen coming up as dummy half. Over to Scott Tronk. Pushed out of one tackle. Sent the pass back to Tapai. He in turn gets it on to Teven. That's Craig Teven. Dummy half is Herring, captain of this Broncos side. He in turn gets it out to Leman. Leman striding up over the quarter line. He comes up with a fullback beat, works across field, but he pulls him down nicely. 20 metres out now. The Broncos looking to keep that pressure going as Teven swings it across to Ricks. Ricks getting it away outside to Teven. He sends it back, but it's going to be knocked down. Play on, says the referee. Teven trying to find, or rather finding a way through over there was Ricks. But now it's going to be a penalty. Now he's going to rule the change over here. Here it is again.
He's got him for leaving the mark there, Bill, and he's actually awarded the penalty.
Grant Ricks, the offender. So Canberra taking plenty of time as they kick for touch. On the far side of the ground, it was Paul Beath who drives it up to some 10 metres short of the halfway mark.
Beath has played very, very well defensively for this Canberra side today on a couple of occasions, has denied Brisbane.
So now it's Canberra in possession, a few metres short of halfway, as Collins comes up as dummy half to Bellamy, turning it back. Oh, there's a crunching tackle from Tessman. Got the shoulder right into it. And certainly the man taking it up, David Woods, would have known about that one. That's Corbo to the halfway mark. So just under 15 minutes remaining in the match. And the Broncos lead is still 4 points to 2.
Canberra have taken it inside the attacking half. They move it across with Bellamy. In turn for Twigg. The long ball for Stanton. Beath was ghosting, tried to come in the line, but Stanton did very well indeed. Coming back at him is Renouf, and he wraps him up with the tackle. The final tackle for the Raiders. Out of dummy half goes Bell for Kinner. Kinner puts the little kick and chase. Rolling loose, he did very well indeed. Kinner, that's a superb effort. That's a good try.
No
double movement.
No try, double movement.
No, he's looked to his touch judge. I think it's a fair try. Fair try for me. It's a good try by Canberra and Kinner. A great individual effort, and he's put the Raiders back in the ball game.
Well, I'd be interested in having another look at this one, David. Here he goes. It's good work all the way round. There's the little kick. He's done well to keep going. Follows out after it. Now, let's have a look. Crowd here booing the replay on the ground. Bang, bang. Double movement for mine.
Wally Lewis.
That's not trying to show my allegiance to the Broncos here, David, but that is definitely a double movement. He did extremely well to get up from the ground. It was a magnificent effort to regain his feet after that, but the rule clearly states that if there is a second effort with the arm to go forward, it is defined as a double movement.
And the crowd letting referee McCallum know exactly what they feel.
Well, I tell you what, the Renouf no try now takes on great significance because the Raiders are back in the lead here in the grand final. And it's Bell with the conversion attempt from right on the junction of the quarter line and the touch line here. The Broncos regrouped in that in-goal area. They trail by 6-4 and 13 minutes of play remain in this grand final. And you can see the disappointment there of the Brisbane side. Bell has kicked his only previous attempt here today. That was a penalty earlier in the game to put the side in the lead by 2-0. And referee McCallum at this stage has made no effort to rule any time off. He has now done it. And the scoreboard clock stops here at the Sydney Football Stadium.
I've got news for you, David. It's still going. It's just stopped now.
And Bell has the ball placed. Vital kick from right on the touchline, but he's pushed it away to the right. No goal. But the Raiders lead in this reserve grade grand final by 6 points to 4.
And welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. It's reserve grade grand final, and welcome to our friends through Perth for this match. What remains of it here, we have just over 9 minutes remaining. And Melbourne viewers also joining us now too. The story here is that the Canberra Raiders lead the Brisbane Broncos in this match by 6 points to 4. And Canberra took out the under-21s today. They've got their first grand final win on the board. They defeated St George in that match by 16 points to 12. As you can see, it's a beautiful fine day here in Sydney. We were expecting some showers, but there's no sign of them today. There's Tim Sheens, Canberra coach, who's taking in this reserve grade performance here. They've been pretty much behind the 8 ball, Canberra, but they're leading at the moment by 6-4. Here's Renew for that. Right on the quarter line is going to be tackled. Tessman is the dummy half. Tessman getting it away then to Teban. Outside to Scott Tronk. He in turn gets it away to Plowman. Final tackle, Phil Gill, the Penrith coach, looking fairly relaxed here. Going to be a knock-on in there at the dummy half spot by Brett LeMan. So it'll be the changeover. And at this stage, we have just 8 minutes remaining in this match. And Canberra looking to take out their second grand final for the day. They're in all 3 of them. And they hold a 2-point advantage over the Broncos here in this reserve grade match at this moment. So now from the play the ball. They bring it up to about midway between the quarter and halfway, still in their own half of the field, as Bellamy turns it back inside, and that decides to keep going and eventually gets away to about a metre short of halfway. Looked as though he was going to unload it. But a nice dummy from him. Saw him go downfield. Kick through there by Collins. Back there is Richards, the Broncos fullback. Put an enormous amount of pressure on Canberra in this match today. They've tried desperately to score more than the one try, but the defence of Canberra's been able to hold them out. But a couple of controversial decisions here might be spoken about, I would suggest, for quite a while to come. So this is Tronk. Flicks it away to Pye. Gets it outside to Renouf. He dummies. Trying to get around the tackle over there of Bell, but he's equal to the task. And they've had a nice battle out there today, these 2 centres. Now back to Renouf. Renouf with a bit of room to move. He cuts back inside. He can't get it away to Tapai. He's going to be wrapped up by Mills coming in over the top. The dummy half is Herring. Herring will send it back over there to Tevan. Outside to Tronk. Tronk taking them on. The one-hand hold of the ball was looking to unload. Here's the final tackle. Brett LeMan not sure who to give it to. He got it out to Tevan, then away to Ricks. Ricks is going to put it up high. They're following out after it. Back under there is Beef. He goes up, loses the ball, but Canberra retain it. And they've go to ground about 7 or 8 metres out from their own line. Just over 6 minutes remaining in this match. Canberra down on their own line. Running away from dummy half there that time was Stanton. But the defence taking a hold of them. Collins gets his pass outside, but not much chance of unloading on that occasion. Kick downfield, they're looking for touch. Going across over there is Richards. It's going to bounce back infield, so he'll be able to pick it up. It looked odds on to go into touch over there. Now penalty coming up here to the Brisbane Broncos. Canberra lead by 6 points to 4.
Back to the Sydney Football Stadium just moments ago. Craig Tevan slotted over this penalty goal, which has levelled the scores up here in the reserve grade grand final. It's 6-all between the Broncos and the Canberra Raiders, and should those scores remain that way at full time, we'll be going into extra time, 10 minutes each way, just like it was in first grade last year.
Well, David, at this stage there's just under 2 minutes remaining.
And Tronk, he's turned over possession of the football. That could be a key play. Canberra now will try and move it upfield to get field position to try and slot over the field goal. And I would say that probably Michael Twigg would be the man to look for. So far this year, he's kicked 3 for the Raiders. And they are 9 metres inside Brisbane's end of the ground. A minute and a half remain here at the football stadium. It's been a controversial grand final. Brisbane had a try disallowed that appeared a fair try. Replay suggests that maybe the Canberra try was from a double movement. But at the moment, it's all lined up as Twigg has a kick. He's got the distance. In fact, it goes over the dead ball line on the full, but it wasn't on target. Earlier today, Canberra picked up their first title in a lower grade grand final, 16-12 in the President's Cup over St George. And Wally Lewis, the danger sign we just saw then, This fellow can drop field goals from anywhere. He didn't have any trouble with the distance.
No, he certainly didn't. I think that'll come in the 10 minutes each way, that's for sure, David. There'll be plenty of attempts from all over the park. With only 35 seconds left, it seems inevitable that the ball will be a draw, or will it?
Well, it's the footballers with Brisbane at the moment. LeMan turning it back now. Plowman got it away for Conway. Conway loses the football, and Bell knocks it on for Canberra. Well, I mentioned that Twigg has kicked 3 field goals for the Raiders so far this year. Terry Madison is the only player in the Brisbane Broncos to have kicked a field goal in any grade. It is not one of the strong points, Wally, of the Brisbane Broncos makeup.
No, it certainly is, and I think I've had about 9 attempts, David, for no successes. As we see one last-ditch effort from Canberra.
And it's Chris Kinner. Will the defence get there? The kick and chase. Teeman comes across, but the ball goes into touch. We go into extra time here at the Sydney Football Stadium. We'll take a break first and be back in just a moment.
Of this reserve grade grand final. They've been back for about a minute and a half as of now, and no addition to the score. 6 points all at the moment, and as a result of this extra time here, the league have announced that the grand final will, in A grade of course, will kick off at 3:15 this afternoon, so there'll be plenty of entertainment coming there to add up to what is already an action-packed day here.
Wally, a significant thing is now the Brisbane Broncos have now played 3 tough matches in a row, while the minor premiers went through after that win against Penrith. I suppose that could be a very significant thing in this final 20 minutes.
That's right, David. Obviously, they've got to be very, very tired, but it could work in their favour as well. Although you'd think that them being tired would detract from their performance. Obviously, they've got to think to themselves, well, we've gone through it before, we've got to go through it again. What's the use of playing all this football if we're not going to achieve a result? But I'm sure that the players will be very tired out there, and they've got to G each other up now. They've got to really start talking, because Canberra will be fresh, and they look like they're full of running still.
So taking it up over there is Mills. I notice Bob Conway up in the field. He came on with about 2 minutes to go in the match, so in retrospect, that was probably a good ploy, because he's got to be nice and fresh for this extra time. So here's the final tackle. Little chip kick through there by Twigg. Oh, threw it over his shoulder and picked up over there too. They're still going, Canberra. Forward. It's going to be forward. No, he's playing on. He's still going. The ball's going to be knocked down by the Broncos. Canberra pick it up. They keep it going. This is going to be interesting. They've got men to burn. Knocked down by Renouf. They had men over. 2 men over there. Well, that was good work by Canberra. And it all started back there with Twigg.
Well, in my opinion, Billy, that was an obvious forward pass, and Greg McCallum was in an ideal position to rule on it. Wally, you were down there. It looked pretty forward for me.
Well, I can only judge from here, David. I had a couple of linesmen and ball boys running in between it, but certainly on the set it looked like that it was forward. Maybe McCallum was a little bit too far behind the play to actually keep up, but gee, Canberra looked like they're dangerous here.
Waiting for the scrum to be fed now. So played forward this time by Collins. He's going to be put down a couple of metres out. Canberra really applying the pressure now in this first period of extra time. That's Mills with it. Dummy half waiting up over there this time is Jones. He's a replacement player. He scoops the ball back. Across over there this time to Beath. Here's a loose pass. It got away over here again. So now working back is Barnhill. Got to be dropped. Eventually Stanton ends up with it. The referee says knock back. He flicks a pass away. Mills with it. Mills dummies, now straightens it up, gets the pass outside nicely, but going to the ground over there with it this time will be Breen. And that's the knock on in there. Players everywhere. Have a look at those Broncos players, about 5 of them down on the ground at the moment. Waiting for the scrum to pack down. 10 metres out from the Broncos line. Taken out there by Grant Ricks. So the Broncos just inside their own quarter line. Mills was the tackler on that occasion. And Can getting up to play it now. Teeman getting it outside. There's a long one this time to Renouf. He props, he goes, he stops, he starts, he does a bit of everything. but eventually put down 10 metres short of the halfway mark. So at this stage, it's 5 minutes to go in this extra period of time, and still the teams are locked together at 6 all.
Yes, and Hanrahan got the pass away for Plowman, and Plowman takes play inside the attacking half. So the Broncos now try to put on the pressure. Kicking early was Tronk, driving it deep downfield. Back goes the replacement player, McDonald. Well, he's already shared in some glory earlier today in the President's Cup side, with Canberra winning that match by 16 points to 12. Beath, who's had an outstanding game at fullback, runs the ball out 5 metres from his own goal line. Towed through. A mistake. A chance. Try. It's a try. I think Ray Herring, the captain, has come up with it.
Herring it is.
And another mistake. Gee, I think Barnhill just couldn't help what happened there. But had the Herring dives on it to put Brisbane back in the lead by 10 points to 6 with the kick to come from right under the post. Feel sorry for this fella, but elation for Ray Herring.
There it is again. It just gets away from him, and you've got to be out of luck when it hits the post and bounces away like that. But Herring was a man on the spot, and he had no hesitation in diving on it.
Well, Wally's led the side well right throughout the year. That's probably a just reward for Ray Herring, who at this stage has not been signed by the Broncos for next year.
Not yet, David, but I think that little piece of magic might entice the Broncos directors to offer him a contract for next year, but very, very bad luck for Canberra there. Some smart thinking from Ray there to try and tow the ball through, but when a football hits the post and bounces back into the arms of an opposing player like that, it's just got to be sheer fluke.
Well, David Barnhill, who really has played so soundly for Canberra today, there he is in picture. He'll have nightmares about that, but certainly you couldn't criticise him. It was out of his control. And the bounce of the ball favours the Broncos for the try under the post. With the kick to come, it will give them a 6-point lead. Well, it falls off the mound. A little bit of an anticlimax there. But this fellow has kicked superbly throughout the final series. He's got a 50% record today. And I don't think he'll get too many easier than this, but remember, pressure in a grand final on a goal kicker is enormous. A chance for Brisbane to lead by 6 in their first ever appearance in a grand final. As they move in now with Tevan, the flags go up. It's the Broncos by 6. 3 minutes remain to the end of the first period of time in extra time. Ball Stadium, Brisbane lead by 12 points to 6. The first 10 minutes of extra time has just concluded. The players will then turn around. Superb crowd waiting in expectation of the first grade game, which has been put back now to 3:15. And you can watch it uninterrupted here on Network 10 right around Australia. And entertainment coming, a spectacular of entertainment after the grand final here in reserve grade, which is just 10 minutes away. And Brisbane, 10 minutes and 6 points in the lead. They stand to go into a special place in rugby league history. Magnificent sight here, the Sydney Football Stadium. Ray Herring, the try scorer and captain. But Wally Lewis down on the sideline. Pretty nasty injury to Alan Cann. We saw him leave the field just before the break.
Yes, he's in a great deal of pain too, David. He's been taken straight into the dressing room to be looked at by the doctor. It's going to leave Brisbane in a little bit of trouble at the moment because they don't have any fresh reserves left. So Brisbane down one man at the moment, and in a game like this where you're in extra time, you really can't afford that.
It's very much like the Blues Brothers, Billy.
Sure does, doesn't it? I know this Brett Plowman doesn't look too hot either, so there's plenty of pressure still on this Broncos team, even though they have a 6-point bumper. And if they happen to be tied at the end of this extra 10 minutes, it all happens again on Tuesday. And we'd be really looking forward to that. So now ready for the restart of the final 10 minutes of this grand final in reserve grade. The Brisbane Broncos leading Canberra by 12 to 6. And they'll be doing everything they can to hold on to that lead. So they just run it out at this stage. Injured player there. They call very, very quickly as Rowan Tevan was injured. He's in a bit of strife. Referee over there having a look at him now. Here he goes. There he's on his way through.
I think he might have caught one in the throat, Bill.
Yes,
that's what the concern is.
It does appear that way. He's having a bit of trouble breathing. Time off, says the referee. Trainer over there showing some concern for him at this stage. So at this stage, we have the Brisbane Broncos leading by 12 points to 6. Stadium in this extra period of play because there was an injured Canberra player. Referee Greg McCallum was calling for the clock to be stopped, but it proceeded for about another 20 seconds or so from there. So it just had a little bit to it. But just part of that, we did see Canberra with a great run that almost resulted in a try. Now you can see working his way through there is Stanton. He gets his pass outside to Bellamy, and this looks really dangerous at this stage. There's the pass. Look forward to me. He got it outside over there to Mark Bell. But have a look at this one, flying away from Chris Kinner on the wing and into touch. So now we're back here with it live, and it's Canberra on the go. This is Collins, gets his pass outside. Renouf pulls him down. Oh, good work. Bell was the man who took it through, but they still keep going. Canberra putting on the pressure, trying to get over underneath that post, but held out. It's the final tackle coming up. Pressure really building up here now. What do they do with it? Let it go, and he's short of the line. No try.
Ashley Gilbert, the replacement player.
Well, they've tried everything here, Canberra. Let's have a look at it. Oh, so close. Ashley Gilbert, but at very short distance, short of the line. And so the Broncos hang on to that lead of theirs that they have at the moment of 12 points to 6. And 5.5 minutes of this extra time, the final period of extra time remaining, as Brett Plowman tries to bully his way upfield, and he's letting them know he's out there. So now it's this Brisbane team some 18 metres out from their own line as Herring gets it away to Tronk. Tronk outside to Conway. Conway almost through the gap. But some nice defence coming in underneath there from David Barnhill, who still must be shaking his head out there after that lost ball of his result in a try for the Broncos. The try that could go a long way towards winning them this grand final in reserve grade. So just 5 minutes remaining. Cutting back inside over there this time is Bell. He's had a great game here for Canberra today.
Stanton is the man at dummy half. So 5 minutes remain here in this reserve grade grand final. We've had 15 minutes already in extra time. And it's the Broncos in the lead by 12. And the hero with the try scorer that put them in the lead was Ray Herring, the captain of the side, off a David Barnhill error, as Billy mentioned. Canberra are 10 metres short of the halfway line. It'll go out with Bellamy. Got a superb ball away for Breen. And Breen still going, looking to unload, which he does. And McDonald has taken in good defence, flicked it back well. And it's Kinner that's taken in the tackle over there. He's moved from the right wing to the left. Now they move it wide across through Breen for Collins. Collins got the pass away. Mills tries to take it up to the quarter line. And he's taken in good defence. Now Stanton away for Collins. The little kick has been knocked down. It's been dived on by Grant Ricks. It's a Brisbane ball, 25 out from their own goal line. And cramping is Grant Ricks. He'll be asked to play the football.
Referee McCallum in very quickly to grab that ball. Take it across field.
So Teban will play it. Well, I wouldn't suggest that Brisbane get too cute at the moment inside their own half, because 3.5 minutes still remain. Conway takes it up to midway between the half and the 22. Now Tronk got a good ball away. Renouf without the headgear steps. Beautiful pass away for Teban. Here's a chance for Richards. Oh, he's taken out late. That must be a penalty. And that probably will seal the ball game. He was absolutely taken out by Beath. And Beath should get 5 in the bin as well. No doubt about that. It was late and it was intentional. So Teban will come up as Richards still lies prostrate on the ground. And Teban will look to put the 2 points, which should put the issue beyond doubt. It would give Brisbane a lead of 14 points to 6. And that would mean that the Canberra Raiders would have to score twice to secure this grand final. So their dream of emulating St George's effort of 1963 could well go out the window with this kick by Teban.
Down the other end of the field over, we notice a Canberra player leading the field under quite a deal of strife also.
I got a feeling, Wally, is that Ashley Gilbert coming off the field?
Yes, it is, David. He's making his way off.
Yeah, well,
it's just pandemonium down here on the sideline at the moment. People are trying to work out how many players, how many replacements they've got left, and no team seems to know, and you can understand that. With 10 minutes each way, I think it's taken its toll on the coaches as well.
Well, one of the handful of players that have chalked up 100 games for... there's Wayne Bennett looking on. His side bowed out last week, but Billy Gardner's side have done it in style here today. And I'm sure that at the Brisbane Broncos clubhouse at Fulcher Road would be ecstatic at the moment with the news that the Broncos look like they've secured their first ever premiership in the Winfield Cup. There's the kick by Teevan. He's kicked it. It's the Broncos in the lead by 14 points to 6. And we've got a minute and a half remaining. And Wally, there's a fair bit of jubilation down there.
Yes, there certainly is, David. The Broncos boys, although there's still a minute and a quarter left, I think it's safe to say that the Broncos have wrapped up the reserve grade premiership, and they've cracked the cold drinks in the reserve bench already. That's how confident they are.
So the restart of play, and we're 55 seconds away for Brisbane to begin a great victory lap here at the Sydney Football Stadium. Canberra won the President's Cup by 16 points to 12. It's the Broncos in the lead by 14 points to 6. And our State Bank man of the match will be announced right on full time as Conway comes out of dummy half. The first grade kickoff will be at 3:15.
They've done a good job, this Brisbane side, David. They've been under pressure right through the final series, and I think you go back about 6 weeks ago and they scored a very good win at Penrith, one man short, and that sort of stamped a lot of authority into their match, and they played with a lot of determination and courage from there.
Yes, well, they had the try disallowed. They had a disputed try by Canberra. There it is, it's all over. It's an historic day for the Brisbane Broncos. They have won their first title in the Winfield Cup, the reserve grade premiership, to add to their Panasonic Cup victory of last year. Final score, 14 points to 6, 2 tries to 1, and it was Ray Herring's try that gave them victory. Herring and Darren Plowman, Teeman 3 goals, and for Canberra, a try by Kidder, Bell a penalty goal. And they went into extra time, Brett LeMan, and of course our man of the match is Steve Renouf, and he'll be with Graham Hughes in a moment, but jubilation, the champagne flows. A terrific moment for the Brisbane Broncos. For coach Billy Gardner, it's a triumph. And for their captain Ray Herring, I wonder whether or not he'll be signed in the ensuing weeks to continue his career at Lang Park next year with the Brisbane Broncos. A great triumph, Bill, and a great moment for Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah, they've done, as I said, they've done a good job here, and a good all-round performance. As we said, they did have what looked like a try disallowed, and then that chancy one with Canberra. So they had the odds against them, but they've been able to stick it out in that extra time and come away with a win. Here's Graham Hughes.
Thank you, Billy. Well, Steve, it had to go to extra time. How do you feel after all that?
Oh, mate, great. This is the best feeling we've ever had, I tell you.
Controversial try disallowed in the second half.
Oh, mate, that's the way it goes, mate. It's just a game.
All right, well, how about some celebrations? $750 straight into a State One account from the State Bank. Well played.
Okay, thanks to the State Bank, and hello back home, Mergen. Yes.
Well done. Well, Billy, they've battled all through the semi-finals as underdogs, haven't they?
They certainly have, Graham. As I just went through that before, they really had the job ahead of them. They defeated St George 20-12, Norths 14-2, and Penrith 18-6. They went in as underdogs, but they've come out winners, and there's their captain, Ray Herring. And I think it was a great performance from his point of view there today. He really led the side well.
Yeah, well, there'll be plenty of celebrations, I'm sure, too, Wally, at the clubhouse in Fulcher Road. And these fellas have done it well. They stumbled mid-season, but they're celebrating a marvellous victory here today.
They sure are, and they did it against the odds too, David, with that disallowed try, and a lot of people will probably argue for a long time over the Canberra try as well, but I suppose that's not to be worried about anymore. These guys have really decided to fight back against all those odds, and they've had a marvellous victory out here. It's a historical one for the club, and yes, you're right, there will be celebrations back there at Red Hill. I think there'll be a few sore and sleepy eyes there in the morning.
Yeah, well, spare a thought for the Canberra side. They were minor premiers And they were defeated here today in extra time. As we go down now to the presentations, there's Craig Bellamy, the Canberra captain.
Big effort, our coach done a great job this year. All the Raiders staff, and all the players' family and friends are all here today, supporters. Thanks very much to them. And all the supporters as well. I hope you give a cheer for the next game. I hope we can win that one for you. Thank you very much.
Good on you, Craig.
Craig Bellamy, the captain of the Canberra Raiders side, and Wayne Collins played superbly. Young Stanton. The jumpers have been swapped here. And this is where this young Bill, he's an outstanding prospect. Hasn't he got some pace?
Yeah, he played very well today. I thought the clash of he and Renouf was one of the highlights, well, probably the highlight of the day. He's a very good player, and I think we'll be hearing more of him.
Well, I'm sure that David Barnhill will be thinking back to that era. As I mentioned, you couldn't blame him. It led to the try by Herring, which ultimately gave Brisbane victory here today. And now it's a moment for the victors. For the Brisbane Broncos, led by their captain, Ray Herring. And that man in picture number 27, they said he'd never play rugby league again after that horrific accident to the knee. And Andrew Tessman comes back today with a grand final victory in reserve grade. Who said he couldn't come back? And Johnny Platt, the little halfback, very popular player.
Really spoke for itself. Commiserations to the Canberra side. They were certainly very gallant in defeat. The full marks to the Brisbane outfit. An historic day for them, the first grand final that they have won in the Sydney competition. And I'm sure that particular game's just about to set the trend for what we're going to see in the first grade grand final. So congratulations to Brisbane.
Rothman's medalist, Peter Sterling.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the premiers in reserve grade for 1990, the Brisbane Broncos.
And notice James Donnelly is out there as well after doing that hamstring. And Herring lifts up the reserve grade premiership trophy. And
loses the top.
And loses the top.
I don't think that'll worry him too much. He'll be a very happy and proud man.
Yes, well, he came on in 3 times in first grade too, Ray Herring, this year. He's a great club man. Let's hear what he's got to say.
I'd just like to thank Bill Gardner, our coach, all our support staff, all the supporters who came down from Brisbane to support us. There's quite a few here. Thanks very much. But most of all, I want to thank the boys on the right here, the Reggies, who are the champions.
And the Reggies he's talking about is a familiar saying, Bill, the Reggie reserves.
Yep. Well, today's their big moment, that's for sure.
Now give the rest of them a hand for a sensational effort.
If you remember back to the first game against Manly in 1988, he was the man that scored the very first try for the Brisbane Broncos in first grade. Today, he receives the trophy in reserve grade. Big Brett Plowman. Man of the match, Steve Renouf. Young Darren Plowman, he scored a try early. Jason Hanrahan, little Johnny Platt went off injured. The Tevan twins, they'll celebrate tonight. James Donnelly, well, he's got a bad hamstring, but I think the champagne might kill that. Fabulous stuff. And as I mentioned, Andrew Tessman, fabulous return for him and a day to savour.
Well, as Peter Sterling said, David, that does set the order, doesn't it, for the A-grade grand final coming up here on 10 at 3:15.
Yes, and that will be uninterrupted here on Channel 10, the first grade grand final. There's great entertainment coming up before that, though, as the countdown begins to this premiership decider in 1990 for that famed Winfield Cup. It's the Penrith Panthers appearing in their first ever grand final up against the defending champions, the Canberra Raiders. Ashley Tupaya is there receiving his trophy. He was back playing in the Brisbane Premiership earlier this year. And today at the Sydney Football Stadium shares in the glory and the spoils of victory. Final score, the Brisbane Broncos winning the reserve grade grand final by 14 points to 6. They scored 2 tries to 1. And now this is what they play for 26 weeks for, the right and the honour to do the victory lap at the Sydney Football Stadium for this newcomers to the Winfield Cup, the Brisbane Broncos. It's their first taste of a victory lap, and it's come here on grand final day in 1990 in reserve grade after their first grade side bowed out last weekend. Of
course, that Brisbane Broncos outfit, David, will have a team in the President's Cup next year too, of course.
That's exactly right.
And there's Big Brett Farmer.
Bigfoot, they call him. Big everything. Rattler man. Photo time, he says. This is a moment to savour. We'll take a break from the Sydney Football Stadium. Countdown to the big one. Panthers and the Raiders. We'll take a break and be back in just a moment.